What if the loudest, most unforgettable statement you could ever make to someone who has been carelessly taking you for granted was your complete, total, and deafening absence? You might think they'd just shrug their shoulders and move on. But what if a predictable, almost scientific, series of powerful psychological stages begins to unfold deep within their mind the moment you truly vanish? Hidden stages of shock, doubt, obsession, and eventual, profound regret. This isn't about petty revenge. It's about a profound psychological reversal. Today, we are breaking down the 10 intense emotional stages they will almost certainly experience when you disappear with dignity. By the end of this, you will understand why your silence is not weakness, but the ultimate power move. Let's begin. Have you ever wondered what truly happens psychologically when you just disappear from someone's life? And I'm not talking about just pulling back slightly or playing hard to get for a few days. I mean you completely, utterly vanish. No texts, no calls, no story views, no contact whatsoever. What would they really feel in the void you leave behind? In today's world, where people so often and so easily think they can take others for granted, let's flip the entire script. Learn to disappear with purpose. And I promise you, their comfortable world, their perception of you, will be shaken to its very core. Welcome to what might be the most important video you will watch today. Especially if you've ever been in a relationship or a situation where someone has gotten far too comfortable with treating you like a convenient option, rather than a cherished priority. We're talking about a profoundly powerful concept today: what they truly feel. The intense emotional stages they go through when you simply, silently, vanish from their life. We'll go over 10 of these stages in detail, and let me tell you, by the end of this video, you will understand with crystal clarity why sometimes the most powerful, most self-respecting thing you can possibly do is to walk away and never, ever look back. So, if you're ready to finally discover your own worth, if you're ready to make them miss you in a way they never thought possible, I want you to make a commitment to yourself right now. Drop a comment below with the words, "I am done being an option." Because by the end of this journey, you won't ever be one again. And be sure to stay tuned until the very end, because that bonus 10th emotional stage is one you definitely don't want to miss. If you're ready to permanently change the way they see you forever, watch this video until the end. Now, let's get started. Stage number 1, the initial shock, the sting of rejection. This is where it all begins. And make no mistake, they never, ever expected you to truly vanish. Not really, in their mind, in the arrogant little story they told themselves. You were a permanent fixture. You were always going to be there. You were the one who consistently put in the effort, the one who initiated the plans, the one who, frankly, cared more. You were the reliable person they could always count on, until suddenly, you weren't. When you disappeared completely, it's like hitting them with a psychological brick they never, ever saw coming. You've undoubtedly heard the old saying, you never know what you have until it's gone. That's exactly what happens, with brutal and beautiful efficiency, when you vanish from their life. And let me make this crystal clear: when you remove yourself from their life, it's not just about your physical absence. It's about powerfully pulling away everything that your presence represented: the comfort, the validation, the constant, reliable availability. In that moment, they feel rejected, but it's not a surface level, casual rejection they can just brush off. It's a deep, personal sting, precisely because for the very first time, they are forced to confront the jarring reality that they don't actually have control over you. People hate to admit it, but when they know someone will always be around, they instinctively start treating them less like a cherished partner and more like a safety net. You become their reliable option, not their exciting priority. But when you vanish, you snatch that safety net right out from under them. with no warning whatsoever, and that's when the initial panic, the disorientation, begins to set in. For them, it's like a sudden, sickening sensation of free-falling. They thought they could take you for granted indefinitely, and suddenly, they're left alone, spinning with the unsettling questions. How did I let this happen? How did I lose control? The sting of this rejection hits especially hard when you've been consistently emotionally available in the past. They took your love, your care, and your presence as a given. They likely assumed you'd always be there, no matter what they did or didn't do. Maybe they even, on some level, thought they were doing you a favor by keeping you around, by giving you the crumbs of their attention. That's the real, profound irony of the situation. They might think they're benevolently giving you crumbs, but in reality, you've likely been the one holding the entire dynamic together with your consistent energy and effort. Here's what you need to understand if you truly want to make them feel the full, unsoftened impact of their choice. You cannot give them any warning. Don't tell them you're thinking of leaving. Don't give them an ultimatum they can negotiate their way out of. And definitely don't ask for their attention one last time. Just go, ghost them completely. When you disappear without explanation, it hits infinitely harder because they never saw it coming. It forces them to reflect on their own actions. But it also tells them, loud and clear, that you are finally, completely done being disrespected. When you walk away, you don't look back. They will feel the rejection. And trust me, it's going to hit them in ways they never, ever expected. The person they thought they had complete control over, the one who always stuck around no matter what, has just, silently and decisively, left the building. Now, let them deal with the aftermath alone. Stage number 2, the haunting emptiness, the void of missing you. Here's where it starts to get really interesting. After that initial, sharp sting of rejection begins to settle, they start feeling something else, something deeper and more pervasive, a profound, gnawing emptiness. They didn't think they'd actually miss you, did they? In fact, they probably convinced themselves, with a certain degree of arrogance, that they wouldn't really care if you left. Oh, if they leave, I'll just move on. No big deal, they might have thought. But what happens when you actually disappear? When the reality of your absence sets in, they start to feel the void. And it's not just any void, it's the kind of quiet, persistent emptiness that gnaws at them when they least expect it. They go through their day, doing the same things they've always done. But now, something fundamental is missing, and that's when they begin to realize that you were the one who added so much of the meaning, the color, the vibrancy to their life. You brought the positive energy, the warmth, the emotional stability, and now, without you, everything just feels a little more bland, a little more gray. You see, when someone takes you for granted, they often assume you're just a part of the background scenery of their life. They assume that the dynamic between the two of you, the energy you provided, is easily replaceable. But here's the powerful truth. No one else on this planet brings what you did to their life. They might try to fill that void with someone new, with distractions, with their friends, but it's never quite the same, is it? You brought a unique, irreplaceable energy, one that likely made their life easier, more enjoyable, more fulfilling, in ways they never even bothered to acknowledge. And that void grows bigger with every passing day. Maybe they thought they could distract themselves with a new fling, or by partying with their friends. Maybe they thought they could just focus on work, or throw themselves into new hobbies to get over you. But guess what? That void stays there, a constant, quiet presence, silently reminding them of what they've carelessly lost. It's a persistent ache, eating away at their peace of mind, precisely because they never thought they'd feel this way about you. Here's the biting irony. They didn't truly appreciate you when they had you. They thought they could do better, or maybe they just got lazy and thought you'd always be around to pick up the slack. But the second you leave, everything changes. They start missing the little things, the inside jokes, the late-night conversations, the comfortable silences, the way you made them feel truly seen and understood. It's the small, everyday moments of connection that they suddenly, desperately crave, but you're not there to provide them anymore. When you disappear, if you choose this path, you must do it in a way that leaves no room for them to casually find you. This means blocking them on social media if necessary, deleting their number so you're not tempted, and making it impossible for them to casually check up on you to soothe their own anxiety. The more they realize they truly can't access you anymore, the deeper and more profound that void becomes. Every single time they think of you and instinctively try to reach out, only to find no trace of you, that void will grow. Let them sit in that quiet, self-created emptiness, and remember this powerful truth. People often don't appreciate what they have until it's well and truly gone. Let them miss you. Let them truly feel your absence. The more they feel that void, the more they'll finally begin to understand the immense value you brought to their life. Stage number 3. The maddening obsession, overwhelming curiosity. By this point, they're likely deep in the throes of that void, and they often start to get desperate. This is where curiosity kicks in, and it's not just a passing thought, it's an overwhelming, almost maddening obsession. The big, burning question in their mind now is, where are they? What are they doing? And most tormentingly, who are they with? They can become obsessed with knowing what's going on in your life. Precisely because they no longer have any access to you, you have become a complete mystery. And for the human mind, especially the ego-driven mind, nothing is more unsettling, more captivating, than not knowing what's going on with someone who was once so close and so predictable. In our current age of social media, this stage is often even more intense and all-consuming for them. They'll likely be checking your Instagram, your Facebook, your TikTok, every conceivable platform, just to get a single, fleeting glimpse of what you're up to. But here's the kicker, the masterstroke of your strategy. You're not giving him anything. You've gone completely dark. No updates, no stories, no posts, no comments, nothing, and it drives them absolutely crazy. Why? Because human beings, by their very nature, hate the unknown. We are pattern-seeking creatures who crave information and certainty. The moment you vanish and create a total information vacuum, their mind starts running wild with questions and scenarios. This is where their own insecurity really kicks into high gear. They start wondering, with increasing anxiety, if you've truly moved on. Are they seeing someone else? Are they happier now? Are they better off without me? They simply can't handle not knowing, so they can become completely fixated on trying to find answers, on trying to regain a sense of control. This is when they might even start reaching out to mutual friends, trying to casually, or not so casually, get information about you. They'll ask leading questions, but they'll likely be too proud to ever admit that they actually care or that they're hurting. It's a sad sight, really. Someone who once thought they didn't need you now going to great lengths just to figure out what you're doing with your life. The truth is, curiosity is an incredibly powerful emotion. When someone can't get the answers they desperately want, their mind will automatically fill in the gaps, and it will almost always fill them with the worst-case scenarios from their perspective. They'll start imagining you with someone else, someone better looking, more successful, more interesting. They'll start imagining you happier, more fulfilled, and more at peace without them. And that single thought, that imagined reality, eats away at them. Day by day, it turns from simple curiosity into a full-blown obsession. And here's the best part, the less they know for certain, the more desperately they want to know. You become the one thing they can't stop thinking about. To fuel this curiosity, you need to become a ghost. Go completely off the grid. Don't post anything that could give them any clues about your life. Let them wonder, let them stew in their own anxious thoughts, endlessly trying to figure out what's happening with you. Every single time they instinctively pick up their phone to check on you and find nothing but a blank screen. It'll drive them closer to the edge. You hold the power now, and their own curiosity is your biggest asset. Don't give them answers, give them only silence. Stage number 4. The uncomfortable mirror, deep self-reflection. Now, we're entering what is often dangerous, deeply uncomfortable territory for them. This is where the initial shock, the emptiness, and the maddening curiosity finally begin to turn inward. This is where the painful process of self-reflection kicks in, and it's often not pretty. After days, or even weeks, of fruitlessly wondering where you are and what you're doing, their focus finally, reluctantly, begins to shift. They start asking themselves the hard, unavoidable questions. Was I too distant? Was I too cold? Did I push them away with my behavior? Did I mess this up completely? The bitter seeds of regret start to sprout, and it's a very difficult pill for their ego to swallow. Here's the reality: people, in general, don't like to admit when they've made significant mistakes. It's human nature to want to see ourselves as the hero of our own story. But when you completely disappear from their life, you force them to confront those mistakes head-on, without you there to reassure them, without you there to argue with, without you there to smooth things over. They are left utterly alone to face their own behavior, their own choices, and for many, that is a truly terrifying and unfamiliar experience. They start replaying every interaction, every conversation in their mind, questioning whether they could have, or should have, done something differently. They remember all the times they ignored your texts or gave you one-word replies. They remember the times they brushed off your feelings or made you feel like you were an afterthought. And it finally starts to hit them hard, because deep down, many of them know they had a good thing going with you. But they carelessly, arrogantly, took it for granted. Now, they're stuck alone with their own thoughts. And those thoughts, in the silent echo chamber of your absence, can be absolutely brutal. This stage is especially powerful because it's entirely internal to them. They can't blame you anymore for how they're feeling. You're not around to argue with or to make excuses for. The only person they can truly blame now is themselves. And that's a tough, humbling pill to swallow. The self-reflection often gets deeper and more painful as more time goes on. And the more they reflect, the more they're likely to realize how much they actually messed up. The guilt builds, and they start wishing they could go back in time and do things differently. But it's far too late for that now. During this critical stage, it is paramount that you do not reach out. Do not try to explain why you left. Do not try to make them see the error of their ways. You must let them figure it out entirely on their own. Self-reflection is most potent, most transformative when it happens internally, without any external prodding from you. The more time they spend alone, reflecting on their own actions and the consequences, the more they'll likely realize that they were the primary reason things went wrong. Let them sit with that heavy guilt. It's an invaluable, if painful, lesson they may desperately need to learn for their own future growth. Stage number 5, the turning tide, the urge to pursue you. Now that they've spent enough time marinating in the uncomfortable fires of self-reflection and growing guilt, something significant often begins to shift inside them. They go from passively questioning themselves to actively wanting you back. The tables have now completely, wonderfully, turned. You were once the one who put in all the effort, the one who cared more, the one who pursued, but now it's their turn. The urge to pursue you can become overwhelming for them. They can't stop thinking about you, can't stop wanting to reach out, can't stop wondering if it's possibly too late to make things right. This is the stage where you'll likely start to see their first, often tentative, moves to re-establish contact, they'll start sending those classic, low-risk, "I've been thinking about you" texts. They'll suddenly like one of your old Instagram posts from months ago. They might even leave a casual comment on something completely unrelated, something vapid, all just to see if you'll give them a sign, any sign at all, that you're still within their reach, that the door to you is still even slightly open. This is the moment the power dynamic has officially begun to reverse. But what happens when these initial, desperate attempts are met with your continued, unshakable silence? This is where their quiet desperation can escalate into more overt action, leading us to the next, even more intense, stages of their journey. And that's exactly where we're going next. And as their quiet desperation escalates, their attempts to get a reaction may become more frequent. They might send that late-night message after a few drinks, hoping to rekindle what they carelessly lost. They are, without a doubt, chasing you now. They have gone from taking you completely for granted to desperately wanting you back. And in this moment, you hold all the power. The urge to respond, to finally say something, might be strong, but you must not. In fact, you shouldn't. You must let them feel the full weight of their own desperation. Let them wonder, with growing anxiety, if you've truly moved on. The more they pursue and are met with your calm indifference, the more they will realize that they've completely lost control of the situation. They no longer hold the upper hand, and that realization can drive a person's ego absolutely mad. When they start chasing, you must not give in. The very moment you respond with emotional energy, the power dynamic instantly shifts back to them. You have worked far too hard to reclaim your worth, and now is not the time to give it away. Let them pursue, but do not reward their efforts. Your silence is your strongest tool here. Let them feel the deep, gnawing frustration of wanting something they can no longer have. This leads directly into stage number 6, the illusion of freedom, the battle between relief and regret. When you first disappeared, they likely felt a brief, ego-driven sense of relief. That initial, intoxicating feeling of freedom. They told themselves, "Finally, I don't have to deal with them anymore." And for a moment, they probably even felt good about it. But here's the thing about that so-called freedom. It's an illusion. It feels exciting at first, but it's superficial, hollow, and painfully temporary. They'll go out, hang with their friends, maybe swipe right a few times on a dating app, and for a fleeting moment, they'll think everything's going to be okay. But as soon as they're alone again, sitting in their now quieter apartment or mindlessly scrolling through their phone in the dead of night, that's when the regret begins its slow, creeping invasion. They begin to realize that freedom, without your steadying presence, is actually just a profound, echoing emptiness. They learn that the people they thought could easily replace you are just surface-level distractions. It's like being desperately thirsty and trying to drink salt water. It feels like a solution for a second, but it just leaves them more dehydrated, more desperate, and more full of regret than before. What's more, in today's world of casual dating and hookups, people often foolishly think that moving on will be as easy as just finding someone new. But it's not. They quickly learn that you can't replace someone who gave you genuine emotional stability and a real, deep connection with some quick fix or a meaningless fling. And that powerful, sobering realization is often what knocks them flat on their back. Let them experience this freedom they thought they wanted. Do not rush back in the moment you sense they're starting to feel regret. You must let them sit in that empty space they thought would feel so good. Remember, the relief they initially felt is temporary, but the memory of your authentic presence, now absent, will begin to haunt them in ways they never expected. Stage number 7, the desperate gambit, the desire to play the game. Once that deep regret truly settles in, they often panic. They feel a desperate need to regain control of the situation. but they don't know how because their usual methods aren't working. So, what do? They often resort to playing manipulative games. They might start acting distant on purpose themselves, trying to make you jealous. They'll start posting carefully curated photos with other people, making it look like they're blissfully happy without you. Maybe they'll post a cryptic song lyric or a passive-aggressive status about moving on, or a selfie that's trying just a little too hard to look happy. It is all just one big, often transparent, attempt to reel you back in, to make you wonder what they're up to provoke a reaction. But here's the beautiful, powerful thing: you're not playing anymore. You have outgrown the games. You've moved far beyond that childish behavior, and you don't even notice their petty, transparent attempts to get a rise out of you. You see, people think that manipulation through jealousy or playing hard to get will make you come chasing after them. But what happens when you've genuinely stopped chasing? What happens when you've grown tired of the entire game? They'll throw everything they have at you: subtle digs, passive-aggressive comments, exaggerated posts on social media, but none of it will work. Because you are not giving them the one thing they so desperately crave: your attention. You are not engaging in their childish tactics. And that, my friend, is what drives them absolutely mad. When they can no longer get a reaction out of you, they lose control completely. They're left flailing, grasping for an emotional lever they can no longer pull, a string they can no longer manipulate. Don't engage, ignore the cryptic posts, don't react to the photos. Their game only works if you agree to play. The moment you stop responding is the moment they realize, with a chilling certainty, they have lost all their power over you. Stage number 8, the unbearable weight of your silence. As their games fail, your silence transforms from a simple absence into an active, crushing presence in their mind. The lack of your words, your texts, and your energy speaks louder than anything you could ever say. It leaves them with nothing but their own thoughts. And here's where it gets truly tough for them. The silence becomes so heavy, so unbearable, that they start to question everything. They start thinking back to all the times they ignored your calls, all the times they were too busy to reply to your thoughtful texts. And now, the profound irony is that they would do almost anything just to hear from you again. Silence is a form of psychological torture for someone who is used to having control and being the center of attention. They expect you to reach out. They expect you to ask what's wrong, to beg for an explanation. But what happens when you don't? What happens when you disappear? And they have to sit there, day after day, in the profound quiet, wondering if they've lost you for good. They simply can't understand it. Every minute that passes without a word from you can feel like a year. And the longer it goes on, the more anxious and desperate they become. We live in a world of constant communication, of instant gratification. Everyone expects an immediate response. When you don't give them that, they can begin to spiral. They're used to the noise of a relationship, the back and forth, even the arguments. But your complete and total silence, it is deafening. Let your silence be your power. Do not break it. Do not explain yourself. Let them feel the full, unsoftened weight of their own actions through the profound absence of your words. They will soon realize that losing access to you, to your energy, is far, far worse than any argument you two could have ever had. Stage number 9, the fear that brings them crawling back. Now, here's where it all often comes crashing down for them: genuine, gut-wrenching fear. This is the stage they never thought would happen. The part of the story where they are actually, truly scared of losing you for good. For a long time, they were comfortable in their power. They thought you'd always be there. They took your presence completely for granted, thinking you were the one who'd stick around, no matter what. But now, you're gone, and they are terrified. That fear hits them harder than anything else they've felt so far. Their mind starts racing with worst-case scenarios. What if I've lost them for good? What if they've genuinely moved on to someone else? The idea of you being with someone new, someone who appreciates you, can consume their mind. They'll picture you laughing with someone else, making new memories with someone else, and the thought of it can make them feel sick to their stomach. They're no longer worried about their pride, their ego, or playing it cool. Now, all they can think about is the possibility of getting you back. This overwhelming fear often drives them to do things they previously swore they'd never do. They'll reach out, this time not with games, but with desperation. They'll apologize profusely. They may even beg. Maybe they will send those long, emotional messages, explaining in detail how they didn't appreciate you before, but how they now realize how much you truly meant to them. Maybe they will even show up at your door unannounced, hoping against hope for one more second chance. Whatever they do, it is now motivated by one singular, powerful emotion, the overwhelming fear that they have lost you forever. But here's the crucial truth you must hold on to. By the time they feel that level of fear, by the time they are crawling back, you're already gone, not just physically absent, but mentally and spiritually. You've moved on, you've found your strength, your independence, and you no longer need them. Their fear, while very real to them, is simply too late for you. When they come crawling back, you must not give them a second chance just because they are now afraid. You must let them face the full consequences of their actions. You've already moved on, and they need to learn that you are not an option to be taken for granted. If you've made it this far, congratulations. You are already ahead of 99% of people out there, and you have proven to be a true Stoic in practice, someone who seeks depth, wisdom, and understanding. And for listening till this far in the video, here is a bonus, just for you. Bonus stage number 10, the realization of your own emotional independence. This is where everything truly comes full circle. Not for them, but for you. This is the ultimate prize, the true victory in this entire process. It's the profound, liberating realization of your own emotional independence. When you disappear, you're not just walking away from them, you are powerfully, decisively walking towards your own freedom, your own emotional clarity, and your own unshakable peace. You see, in many relationships, we can get so caught up in trying to make the other person happy, in proving our worth, that we completely forget about our own fundamental needs. We forget that we always have the sovereign power to choose, to walk away, to demand better for ourselves. But once you've vanished, once you've reclaimed your own space and your own energy, you start to see things with a crystal clarity you may have never experienced before. You no longer need their validation. You no longer truly care what they think, how they feel, or what they want. You've powerfully realized that your core happiness is not, and never was, tied to them, and that is the most powerful, most liberating thing you can ever experience. This is your emotional independence. And here's the best part, they feel it too. They realize that you're not the same person they once knew. You're stronger now, wiser, more confident. They can sense that you've outgrown them, that you no longer need them to feel complete. This is where the tables have turned. For good, they might be stuck in the same old patterns of behavior, but you have evolved. You have broken free from the exhausting cycle of seeking external validation. And now, their opinion of you means absolutely nothing. Own your emotional independence. Don't go back to the old ways. Don't ever give them the satisfaction of thinking they still have any control over your happiness. You've moved beyond that, and that is your biggest win. So what's the ultimate lesson here? Stop giving people the chance to take you for granted. Stop being the person who's always there, no matter how badly they treat you. The moment you choose to walk away, the moment you vanish into your own self-improvement, everything changes. You hold the power now. They'll feel it, they'll regret it, and they'll realize, all too late, that they've lost something truly irreplaceable. If you're ready to reclaim your power and stop being an option, I want you to make a final, powerful declaration in the comments below with the words, "I am done being an option." Because after today, you're about to step into the most powerful version of yourself. If this video hit home for you, if you felt a powerful shift in your mindset as you listened, then I want to give you a very strong call to action. First, hit that like button. It tells the algorithm that this message is important and helps us reach more people who need this wisdom. Second, share this video with a friend who you know is struggling with being taken for granted and needs to hear this. And finally, if you are not yet part of our community, subscribe to the channel and turn on all notifications. We are dedicated to creating powerful, no-nonsense content like this to help you become the strongest, most centered version of yourself. Your support helps us grow, and I appreciate every single bit of it. Remember, you are in control now. See you on the next video.